license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
The Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and online at WGNSradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to your Tuesday morning edition of the Roundtable Show with your host, Wayne Blair, myself, Rick Hall. We come to you every Tuesday morning here at WGNS Studios, and we try to concentrate on North Rutherford County and things going on in our school system and stuff like that. And we got a great show on tap for you today. I can't wait to get to it. But good morning, Mr. Wayne. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Brother Rick. Doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm hot. It's all over again.
I think
we had a little reprieve, but it's back.
Yeah. But hope you had a good weekend. I caught a lot of preseason football, and after worship on Sunday, got some time on the water at Percy and at Priest, and it was just a good weekend.
It sure was. Yeah. Well, our Bulldogs took a little hit Friday night against Riverdale. Riverdale got a wide receiver and really looks good. Yeah. So.
Well, I think overall, the county had a pretty good outing. Overall, Siegel won. Of course, I think Oakland annihilated whoever they played.
Yeah.
And, I think Rockville got beat by 1 point. That'll break your heart. So, but football's here. I'm a happy guy with football.
Amen.
Place. So, Brother Rick, it's not often that a radio show has a couple of peaches. But we're fortunate enough this morning to have retired Rutherford County Deputy and SRO Dickie Peach and his son, the attorney for the town of Smyrna, Jeff Peach, who also former detective. Actually, all four of us have law enforcement experience because I graduated from the Police Academy in Donaldson in '75, class 146. So y'all are all professionals. But it's welcome, and Rick and I are pleased to have you this morning.
Thank you. Good morning. Rick and I worked together for at least 15, 16 years.
We sure did.
Wow. Yep. Yeah. Before when we're out in the was it green/blue room, I was laughing there, wondering if you and Rick would start telling stories on each other, see who drew first blood.
Yes, we were wondering which ones we could tell and which ones we couldn't.
We're flipping a coin.
Why don't we get y'all to talk a little bit about yourself personally, families, maybe some upbringing, some history. Deputy Peach, you'll always be Deputy Peach. My children called you Officer Peach when you were the SRO at Cedar Grove, and I tell you what, those children at that school, they just loved you.
We had a good time. You know, I'm like you. I always heard Officer Peach, and I thought my first name was Officer. but I had a good time with all my relations with my students. I was at Cedar Grove for about 4.5 years, starting in 1998, and then I did a little bit of a break there when we had one of our deputies got transferred back to the Army, and he had to go to Iraq, and so I went to Central Middle School for a short time, and then in 2003 I went to Las Casas and stayed 7 years at Las Casas, and I really enjoyed working with those students and that staff at Las Casas. And then I finished up in 2013 at Smyrna Elementary and Smyrna Primary. And so I finished my career about 10 years ago.
Wow.
And you helped coach basketball at some of those.
Oh yeah, yes. And while I was at Smyrna, I would assist coaching basketball at Smyrna Middle with Coach Bill Hockaday.
Yeah.
I sure appreciate him letting me do that. And I had a big time with that too. I would like type up a summary of the game and put it on the in the locker room and in the girls on the door in the girls' locker room and kind of brag on some of them that maybe shined that night before or whatever, and just tried to encourage them. And so I had a lot of fun.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in a village called Theta, 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 Tennessee. It's between Santa Fe and Spring Hill, and I went to school at a two-room schoolhouse in Theta, Tennessee, from first grade through sixth grade.
We have that in common because I went through seminary for first grade, and it was a two-room schoolhouse as well. And that they just renovated that building, and now it's a home right there on the corner of Poplarwood and Seminary in Smyrna. So,
yes. Anyway, I have three brothers and two sisters, so there's six in our family, and I was the fourth one. All of us were born in that same house. It was destroyed just recently, but the home place. But I had a good childhood. I had a mom and dad that took care of us and loved us, and we didn't have a lot of money, but we had everything we needed, and so I had a good upbringing. My dad was he was like a natural politician, I guess you might say. He knew how to deal with people. He was a pick and shovel man with the county road department, and then he wound up being the road superintendent for about 16 years, reelected about 4 times, and he just had a way with people, and I'm hoping that I got some of those traits with him, how to handle people or how to deal with people.
I would agree.
And I think a big part of that was that respect. My dad always respected people. It didn't make any difference what their station was in life. He always respected them. He'd always call people brother this or brother that, and he'd always tried to help people.
I think you said earlier that you went to MTSU.
Yes, sir. 61 through 63. Got sort of frustrated because I didn't have any transportation, no car or anything, and so I stopped. I didn't go back my third year, junior year. I was going for physical education degree for coaching. And anyway, I went to work, and about a year after I went to work, I got drafted into the U.S. Army.
God bless you for serving.
And then I was in the military police in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. That's where I met my wife at that time. And then after I got out of the service, I didn't get married while I was in the service, but we waited for another month or two after I got out, and we got married in August 21st, 1966.
Yesterday.
Yesterday. Yeah, 57 years ago.
Wow.
But anyway, then I went out of the Army. I came back to work. I was working in Franklin, Tennessee at the time, and then we moved to Decatur, Illinois. That's where my wife was from, and I got on the police department there, and I was there for 12 years. I was going to stay 3, and I stayed 12 years. And an interesting thing, Mr. Blair, is that while I was there in Decatur, Illinois, I was in the first program similar to what we call school resource officers. I was a police school liaison officer in 1970, and it was a program out of Flint, Michigan, sponsored by the Mott Foundation. And I was the first SRO at Eisenhower High School in Decatur, Illinois, back in 1970.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
cool. We're gonna let your son talk at some point in time.
Yeah. Okay. We better. Yeah. All right.
You had a long, impactful life, Deputy. Thank you.
And I loved every minute of dealing with those children. I always tried to look them in the eye and let them know that I knew they were there and that I cared about them and gave them attention, and they've responded.
I can attest to that you did that For sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you still hear Officer Peach from across the restaurant today. Every now and then
That's
you'll hear
pretty cool.
someone when they
Yeah,
walk
a lot
in.
of them got children of their own now.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of, like, I'm probably running into now. It's people that we knew
Mm-hmm.
when we were younger, and they've got kids now, and they're introducing you. But,
Okay, we better let other people talk, but if it gets a dragging, I got something I want to tell you.
Yeah, we figured that we would be good this morning on time.
I was happy you were coming. I was texting with Jeff yesterday and about confirming him coming on the show today, and
I would like to read y'all some, maybe one or two of my poems I wrote.
You'll have time. You
yes,
can-
sir.
Yeah.
Just like Elvis, I am pretty good on that.
Yeah,
Too.
but
Yeah,
you
okay.
didn't bring your guitar, right?
No, I didn't bring it.
Okay.
Yeah. So Jeff,
Yeah.
tell us about yourself, because I know you grew up in Columbia with Dad over
mine's a little
here.
quicker,
So.
not as exciting as Dad's, but grew up in Columbia,
Yeah.
and then like most, came to MTSU,
Yeah.
and that's how I wound up in Rutherford County. Just like everyone else, you realized how great of a place it was, and didn't really want to go back because there was so much going on, especially for young people here at the time. And my first job up here after college was Truman Jones. Hired me as a deputy. Started in the jail for about 9 or 10 months. Was the worst job I ever had in my life. I'm glad I did it, but wouldn't want to do it again. But I think it made me a better officer. And so was on patrol for a while, and I was actually a dare officer for 1 year for the sheriff's office. And then it was kind of a trend at the time back then that a lot of officers were migrating from Rutherford County to Smyrna. Smyrna was a well-known, well-respected department throughout the state, and I had followed some of the other deputies, and I went up to Smyrna in '96, and became a patrolman up there, and Rick and I actually got promoted about the same time as supervisors, and then in '98 I went into detectives and did that for about 10 years. But Smyrna's my home now, and so really enjoyed it and seen a lot of things change over the years. You know, when Sam Ridley was a 2-lane road, and
Sure.
and I can remember riding on 840 when it was gravel when they were building it, and Deputy Elrod and I used to hang out a lot out on 840 when before it was completed, and it's just funny now to see how much traffic was on that road. But yeah, that's in a nutshell. Married, we've got 4 kids between us, and we live out by the lake. I was interested to hear that you were on Percy Priest. I've got a
I would be there every day if I had the opportunity.
I've got a little boat there at Fate Sanders, and so I really enjoy that because we're so close to the water. But
Sure.
that's kind of my enjoyment these days, is going out on that.
And you got a little son, from what I can.
Yes. Now Jack's, I'm kind of like Rick with the dogs. Jack's, he's always on Facebook. Most people recognize him more than they ever do me. But I guess I should add in my latest job that I've been doing for 15 years is while I was a detective, and Rick and I were both detectives at the same time. I went to law school and started with the city attorney's office, or we call it town attorney's office in Smyrna, in 2008. I had my limited license. 2008, 2009 had my full-time license, but been there ever since. And boy, that has been exciting. You know, all of Rutherford County, but Smyrna, as far as I'm concerned, is one of the best growing and fastest growing communities. Try to do the right planning and have the right atmosphere in place for growth and proper growth. But I've been really blessed to have a city council that has been consistent and supported me all of this time, and it's just been a great place to work. So I've been at Smyrna, between the police department and town attorney's office. I've been at Smyrna for a little over 27 years.
Wow.
Now, for years, Smyrna basically contracted out all their attorney work and things like that. So you were part of
Yes.
that transition team
Yes,
to
I
where
was
we
a-
went to a full-time attorney,
Right, I was the second full-time attorney. Michelle was the attorney prior to me,
Yep.
and Komorowski, and unfortunately, she had passed, but I had my limited license under Michelle, actually. And so just sort of after her illness, Mark O'Neill had placed me in there at the time. And then later, the council had appointed me to town attorney. But it's been a blessing to be there all this time.
So, what does a town attorney do? There's so many hats that you wear, probably people don't realize. So,
Right.
in a nutshell, what do you see every day, or what
Well,
are you dealing with?
and I laugh. I have an assistant attorney, Jason King, who used to be at Caius and Rogers here in Murfreesboro. Been very, very blessed to have him. But I joke with him all the time that we would love to have the same issue come up so that we would know what to do.
Each time.
and there's never the same issue that comes up, and there's so many things. But just in a day's work, we run the gamut of all of the contracts that the city may have with folks, the litigation. We are the prosecutors in the municipal court, not in the criminal court. We don't practice criminal law, but just speeding tickets, codes, violations, those types of things. A lot of planning and zoning, as we all know, that's a huge issue in Rutherford County because of the growth. But we deal with tons of issues with that. In Smyrna we have a gas. We run a natural gas, sewer, and water. So you've got all of those EPA issues with that. You've got stormwater, national permits with stormwater. We have parks and recreation. Of course, we build roads. And so with all of those things, and with growth where you're acquiring properties or you're getting easements, there's never a shortage of work for us to deal with.
I suspect working with the Department of Transportation can be a little arduous from time to time.
Yes, they're paperwork driven, but once you learn that, then you know what they expect. And what's been really good is Mayor Reed, since she took on the mayorship, has really changed the relationships that the town has. We used to kind of live in a bubble a little bit, and now we're more of a regional player and are part of several counties around Nashville, the greater Nashville area. And she's been a leader of the municipal planning organization, the MPO, and her and Brian Hercules have developed these relationships, with commissioners at TDOT and those types of things. And it does make a difference, when you kind of can get in there, and it helps you advocate for the town a little bit better when you're involved on a daily basis.
Where do you see us going? Because I'm thinking about when you and I started. So we were about 8,000 total people in Smyrna. A lot of 2-lane roads, and like you said,
right. 3 restaurants.
There was nothing. If you arrested somebody, you took up a collection because you stopped at Crystal's to bring Crystal's back to everybody on midnight shift. That's the way we started with. But I guess we're approaching 60,000 residents in Smyrna.
Right, that's right.
So the planning part of that just has to be a nightmare. It just seems like to me, because like you're saying, the contracts and things you got to go through that. And there's 2 of y'all in that office up there, so
right.
I imagine you guys stay pretty busy.
And obviously, for my position, I don't really make a decision of this is what you're going to do as far as planning and zoning, but I do have a front seat, look at the windshield. And so, it's always this balance between a property owner's rights and what's best for the community. And so that's a continual balancing act that the council has to do, and the city in general, the town in general is looking at. But there's no shortage of those that in commercial, retail, industrial, and residential that want to come to Rutherford County.
And it's your job to kind of keep the town out of court best you can.
That's
well.
right. I try to tell folks with in-house counsel, because you've got either in-house counsel at the local governments, or you can have contracted outside counsel. And the purpose of in-house counsel is not so much to respond to litigation, even though we do, but is to avoid litigation in the first place. And so it's hard to measure sometimes what we're doing because it's hard to measure what you didn't receive. But that's our goal, is to work with all the departments, all the directors, the elected officials, et cetera, and business owners, and see what we can do to let's avoid litigation if we can on the front end.
So when you got in law enforcement, that was a direction you kind of took because of what your dad was doing? And
that's what I was. My mother was a nurse, and my dad was a police officer. And so, and I had an Uncle Sam. They did a little thing in the paper many years ago with my dad and my uncle. He was with Metro. But that said, I did forget to mention my first job as an adult was with the ambulance service in Murray County. So I kind of followed after my mom for a little while. I did that for 7 years, and then I went into law enforcement. I always wanted to go to Florida Highway Patrol, is what I thought in my mind at the time, but obviously life happens.
That's
and,
right.
I'm glad that I didn't go that route.
Yeah, he's a Gator, man. I don't know if we brought that up earlier. But
Oh no!
That's right.
Unfortunately,
It's only blue here.
you did graduate for him.
Oh,
I
Anyway,
still like
Got it.
MTSU, but
Yeah.
when it comes to the SEC, I am definitely
Okay, well let's not go
a
there.
Gator.
Okay.
Yeah.
we
Brad-
we may be Gator haters
Yeah.
for all you know.
Brad Turner and I are the lone Gators.
That's
around.
right. So, Mr. Peach, I see you've got one of your poems out, and we're going to have to go to break here, so I want to see if you want to read that poem real quick, and we'll go to break after you read that poem if you think you can.
Can we make it? You think I can read that in the time?
You?
I'll go fast.
Yeah,
but
you're in charge of the show,
all right,
so you go ahead.
I hope Truman's listening.
All right.
Did he listen sometimes, Reckon Brian?
He does.
They're gonna run out of time.
Okay. I wrote a poem for Truman Jones. Are y'all gonna listen?
Yes,
sir.
Okay. Here's a man we all truly owe respect. He is a great example of serve and protect. A man of highest integrity. You never once will doubt his sincerity. He made his mark while he was here. He has a reason for pride in his career. Truman never really sought the public eye, and for a number of reasons, he's a special guy. We do not want this special time to pass without saying Truman is a man with class. He always tried to help folks in a bad situation. That is another reason he deserves our appreciation. His total contribution to this county will be difficult to comprehend. But most of all, Truman Jones Jr. was a real friend.
Amen.
Amen.
What
And
cool.
we took place of his show. He used to have the Truman Show, and this is what we kind of replaced. He had every day, which I can't imagine having 5 days a week versus our one day what we do. But we're going to take our first break. You listen to Town Attorney Jeff Peach and his awesome father, Deputy Dickie Peach, and we'll be right back with you in just a minute.
Hi, this is Chip Walters with Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates. You might know me as the voice of the Blue Raiders, but I want to be your trusted advisor in real estate. Whether you're buying or selling, it's time to choose Chip. Do you have a growing family and need to upsize? Are you an empty nester now and need to downsize? Are you thinking of selling your current home but just worried you can't find something else? Well, it's time to choose Chip. I'm looking to be your trusted advisor in real estate. I'm Chip Walters with Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates.
Be more cyber zen. Get NordVPN. With a few simple clicks, NordVPN will block online trackers, secure your devices from malware-infected downloads, and block access to malicious websites. With NordVPN, enjoy internet without trackers, without malicious websites, without malware-ridden files. Be more cyber zen. Take advantage of our special offer now at nordvpn.com.
Consumer Cellular's award-winning customer support is 100% based in the U.S., and you are 100% based in the U.S. That's something you have in common with Consumer Cellular's customer service. And Consumer Cellular customer service likes pizza, and you like pizza. And Consumer Cellular has an acute fear of spiders, and your fear of spiders is acute as well. So you already have so many things to discuss when you call Consumer Cellular to talk about our affordable and flexible phone plans. Consumer Cellular, when freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
This is Sean Brown at Tire World on Broad Street. Did you know we specialize in commercial and fleet business? We're equipped to handle all of your company's automotive needs. Download our Tire World app today for free oil changes and electronic coupons. Come by today for all of your automotive needs. Online at tireworld.us.
Tire World has begun its last at-cost tire sale of the year. Now through Saturday, all passenger and light truck tire brands will be sold at cost. Plus, we're also taking 20% off installation. There are also manufacturer rebates up to $110 on brands such as Bridgestone, Firestone, and Continental. So, no markups, discounts, and rebates for 1 week only. Don't miss out and call Tire World today.
At Tire World, we keep your family rolling.
You know, there's a lot of people out there talking about testosterone. You hear about treatment centers everywhere. But do your homework and go to a provider that you can trust, one that's been doing it for years. I recommend Low T Center on Medical Center Parkway in Murfreesboro. That's where I get my levels checked. At Low T Center, they make it quick and easy. Walk in, take a simple blood test, and then with their on-site lab, you get the results in 25 minutes. If you've been feeling tired, grumpy, weight gain, or loss of muscle mass, these could all be signs of low testosterone levels. Low T Center's not like a typical doctor's office where you have to wait a long time to see the doctor. Low T Center is concierge medicine exclusively for men. They have affordable and convenient options, including physician-monitored self-inject treatments that ship directly to your home each month. No need to drive to the center for weekly visits. Right now at Low T Center, it's only $25 to get your testosterone level tested. So what are you waiting for? Go to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment online. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
This is Good Neighbor Events with Bart Walker. Brought to you by AmeriCare Pest Control and the law offices of John Day.
This is a paid legal ad.
Hi, this is John Day of the law offices of John Day. For more than 30 years, my team and I have worked hard to help injured people throughout Middle Tennessee. Over that time, we've helped thousands of people get the legal help they need when they've needed it the most. And if we're not able to help or aren't the right lawyer for you, we'll do the best to point you in the right direction. If you've been injured, call the law offices of John Day for a free consultation. And remember, there's no fee unless we win your case.
Well, let's check those WGNS Good Neighbor events. This is the weekend for Middle Tennessee Electric's virtual annual meeting. Everyone who's a customer of MTE is an owner, but you have to sign up to participate in this weekend's virtual meeting. Do that now by getting with your friends at Middle Tennessee Electric. The virtual meeting is at 2 o'clock this Saturday. Also this Saturday, the first annual Milton Power of the Past Antique Tractor and Farm Show, plus the parades at noon, right there in Milton, this Saturday. Also, the play Kinky Boots continues at the Center for the Arts in Uptown Murfreesboro, and the bluegrass musical Bright Star is at the Arts Center of Cannon County in neighboring Woodbury. No sales tax on food and groceries in Tennessee now through October 31st. That's at grocery stores, food trucks, restaurants, farmers markets, sales tax-free through October 31st. It does not include alcohol, candy, or dietary supplements. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor events.
Good Neighbor weather.
A heat advisory goes into effect for this afternoon. We'll see a blend of clouds and sunshine with highs in the upper 90s, heat indices as high as 108. I'm meteorologist Michael Caro, News Radio WGNS. Right now it's 76.
Broadcasting from the Middle Tennessee Electric Studios, MTE Sharing Change has now donated more than $11 million to local nonprofits assisting worthy causes in our community. MTE, serving to make life better since 1936.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and worldwide at WGNSradio.com.
Good morning. Welcome back to the second segment of the Rick and Wayne Show. This morning, we've got a couple of peaches with us, and we have retired Rutherford County Sheriff Deputy Dickie Peach, also wore the SRO hat, and the Town of Smyrna attorney, Jeff Peach, which is Dickie's son, and we're we're grateful to have both of you this morning.
Glad
So
to be here.
again, welcome.
Thank you.
Well, Deputy, what would you like to talk about?
I want us to recreate the conversation we just had off mic. Now we're all Elvis fans, and we got into talking Elvis stories. So somehow, how can we recreate what we just talked about? So,
Well, I found that interesting too, and maybe Mr. Wayne, you could maybe talk a little bit about your experience.
Well, let's start with you because you are known as Elvis.
Yes,
to all the kids. So you may hear in unison of
I started
Officer Peach and Elvis.
I think I started out at Cedar Grove during a talent show time or something, and so I started back in about 1999, 1998, and the kids seemed to enjoy it, and then I got to where I really enjoyed it myself, and ever since then I've been traveling all around Murfreesboro and all around Smyrna. Matter of fact, I did a program. I call it Elvis Tribute, and I don't really like to call it impersonator. I do a tribute to Elvis.
Sure.
And anyway, I was at the Pavilion, which is the old Rutherford up there on Cedar Grove Road, and then I got about 3 more coming up in September. I'm going to be at the Smyrna Care Center on the 9th, and then on the 19th I'm going to be at out by the airport in Nashville, up there at Opal of Music City, assisted living facility. And then on the 29th, I'm going to be at the Bridge again. I've been to the Bridge a few times out at Laverne.
And he has the Vegas jumpsuit. And
I was going to say, the stretch pants, you're still wearing those?
Rhinestone type. Anyway, I try to do about a 30-minute program, and I guess the history on my singing was I used to work. I worked 20 years in the industry after I got out of law enforcement for a while, and anyway, I had all kinds of jobs, and I was working at GE, and I started singing in a bucket, and I sounded pretty good, so I started singing. Y'all try that sometime. You sing in a bucket, you sing a lot better.
I sing in the shower sometimes, just so nobody can hear me.
But anyway, I started doing Elvis, and people seem to respond to it to bring back old memories to people, and a lot of those folks in the residents in the facilities would sing with me, and we just have a big time, and I love singing.
The all 5 shows that Elvis did back in the early 70s at Murphy Center, all 5 were sold out. I mean, it was just packed.
I thought Elvis was here twice, but you said he was up more than that.
He was here 3 times, I think, in '74, and maybe twice in '75. Or I hope I got my dates right.
Right,
but
2 different years, but he would have like 3 nights that he would come.
3 and then 2, and the weight change on him. He went from the pantsuit, the first 3 shows, to a sports jacket the second time around. So he had
getting a little bigger.
It was a little bigger.
I feel like I've changed like that too.
Nobody thinks about Murphy Center, but that was a headline auditorium for people to come for years since when it was built.
Elton John, Leon Russell. I mean, I'm dating myself, but those were
George Strait.
Yeah, those were big guys back in.
I met her. Back in the day, Smyrna was known as a speed trap, and I caught a black limo at Omni-Hut headed towards Murfreesboro, running through there way over the speed limit, and I pulled him over about the Nissan Bridge, and that had a sunroof in the back, and all of a sudden Billy Ray Cyrus stood up out of the sunroof. He said, "Look, I'm sorry for whatever he did, but I'm late for my show."
That reminds me, Rick, of something I did for the Rutherford County Historical Society. They celebrated 40 years of Elvis being at the Murphy Center, and then I did a little program for the Historical Society.
Oh wow!
Yeah, a good friend of mine there, Marty Luffman, got me hooked up with that. And I will say hello to Marty in case he's listening
I'm pretty
today.
Sure he is.
Yeah, he's a good
Marty
man.
just the other day.
Yeah, he's a good man. Thank you, Marty.
Yep. So, where did you come where you're writing poems now? Where'd that evolve?
I don't, as I look back, I think it happened back when I was living in Columbia, and I would write poems for good friends and just close associates and people that I knew pretty well, and especially people at my church, and I would write poems in their honor, and especially if they lost a loved one or something. And I just got to where I enjoyed writing poems for people. I wrote one. Can I share one of them that I wrote?
Sure.
Sure.
I'd like to read both of them, but we may not have time.
We'll make time. Okay.
We'll have Jeff back.
I got
on
one
another
I called.
show. You can do whatever you
No,
want.
I am fine.
I was a sheriff deputy down in Murray County back in 1997, and I wrote a poem to the jury. I had a sequestered jury experience there during the Jamie Rouse trials of the shooting at Richland High School. Anyway, I was locked up 10 nights and 11 days with the jury, me and another officer, and so I couldn't go home, change clothes. I had to have my wife bring my clothes to change, and so I just ate and slept there at the motel with them. And I wanted to write about the experience. Y'all ready for it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I call this an ode to the jury. If you're a voter and registered, there's a slight chance you might be sequestered. You might be held up in a motel room, and you will try everything to avoid getting gloom. You will wonder how you wound up in that jury seat, and at times it will seem like all you do is sleep and eat. You will meet some good people who may feel just like you, but through this trying experience, they will help each other through. You will make new friends, and that's a thing of beauty. And all this came about because of jury duty. You will know that your job was important as you began this serious quest. And through all the ups and downs, rest assured, you'll do your best. So thank you, jurors, for serving. We are all glad you were there. It was good to make your acquaintance, and I know how much you care. And I wanted to say that, y'all, because they prayed before they made that final decision on what to do with the defendant. And I just really appreciated their professionalism and their concern and just being good, responsible citizens.
So how did this come naturally, writing poems, or is it something you have to work at?
Well, I think it just came naturally. I would begin, if I was going to write a poem about something or about somebody, I'd begin to just think about words and just write words down on a piece of paper, and I always like to make them rhyme. And so I would just write down words that rhymed and then try to fit those words to that situation or that person's personality or that gift that I thought they had or what they meant to me, and and so I just usually do it that way.
And he's writing all the time. If he's awake, he's writing something. Maybe not be poems, but he just is always writing something.
Between your writing and what you have to read by being in the law business, if you will, I like to read, but I want to read what I want to read. Reading law books and statutes, and I'm always amazed at people like you that have that acumen, I guess.
Well, what's good is, a lot of these cases are just small stories that you read, really. And some of them are just as exciting or even crazier than the fiction that you have.
You're right. Well, hey, you're listening to Smyrna Town Attorney Jeff Peach and his father, Deputy Dickie Peach. And we're going to unfortunately take our second break, and we'll be right back with you guys in just a minute. All right.
This is Lisa Halliburton with Bell Jewelers. We have gifts for everyone. If you want to commemorate your children's birthstones, and all the different birthstone colors is very popular. We do in-house engraving. We can even do your own personal signature or the kids' handprint on a piece of jewelry or something in their handwriting. Bell Jewelers, 821 Northwest Broad Street, across from Toots Restaurant.
Woodbury Road Baptist Church invites you to worship with us this Sunday morning at 10:45. If you can't make it in person, listen to WGNS Sunday morning at 10:15. Find out more at woodburyroadbaptist.org. We look forward to worshiping with you this Sunday.
You don't have hot dogs or apple pie or no Chevrolet to drive, but we have some hickory smoked wings you're just dying to try. You'll try them, you'll like them, you'll give some to a friend. So on a dare, just stop on by and bring in a friend. Slick Pig Barbecue, 1920 East Main.
Here at Bud's Tire, we make buying Michelin tires simpler. I'm Allison Mitchell with Bud's Tire Pros. We offer a straightforward approach to service, including nationwide warranties with every purchase. Stop in today to see our full lineup of Michelin and BF Goodrich tires. For whatever you drive, Michelin and BF Goodrich have a tire to fit any need. Bud's Tire Pros, hassle-free, guaranteed. We're located on East Main Street, exactly 3 miles from the town square, 1 mile past Rutherford Boulevard. Visit us online at budstireprostn.com.
This is Dr. David Morris with Magnolia Medical Center. Do you suffer from peripheral neuropathy in your hands or feet, burning pain, balance problems, and decreased quality of life? Magnolia Medical Center can help.
Magnolia Medical Center in Murfreesboro. Online at magnoliamedicalcenters.com.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and worldwide at WGNSradio.com.
And good morning. Welcome back to the third and final segment of the Rick and Wayne Show. And it's been our pleasure this morning to have retired deputy SRO, poem writer, Deputy Dickie Peach, and I think you've had to take a second chair this morning. We have the Smyrna town attorney, his son Jeff Peach, and I think his dad has stolen the show this morning, which is okay.
Yes, I'm blessed to be here with him.
I think you wanted to read another poem that's near and dear to your heart.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I wanted to write a poem for Jeff, our youngest son, when he got his law degree, and and you just mentioned it off air about we have a second son, Jeff's older brother, Todd Peach. He put 26 years in at the Air Force, the Air Force, come out senior master sergeant. Only 2% in the Air Force get that, and he retired about 10 years or so ago, and now he's working for the he's working for the Defense Department in the Southern Command high security building down there in Miami, doing communications security.
Wow, God bless him.
Work, and so I thank him for his service.
Yes, sir.
Yes, and he could probably look this up on the podcast, couldn't he?
He'll be able to go to YouTube.
I'll send Jeff a link, and he'll be able to see
do that. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, we're proud of you too, son. We are. I'll call this Jeff's poem, written in 2009. Okay. Pay attention to the words that rhyme. That's what makes a poem.
Yes, sir.
All right.
I never knew that.
All right. Are y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
There's a poem about a man with a vision. He wrestled with it while then made his decision. He was somewhat content in his present situation, but he thought possibly he could change his occupation. He had always worked hard and been quite effective. The FBI recognized him as a good detective. So Jeff entered law school to become an attorney, and the entire family say it was quite a journey. It was hard to grasp all the things he had to endure, but God provided a way. We know that for sure. So here we are today at this happy celebration to recognize and rejoice in Jeff's dedication. His wife and family support him all the way, and we would like to add today, we're so proud of you, Jeff. You're the best we ever saw. Now you can say you're an attorney at law. And then at the bottom I said, your family loves you, and don't forget this poem wasn't too bad because you know it was written by your dad.
That is so way cool.
Thank you, Father.
Oh, God.
You know, I forgot about the Eagle Award.
Yes, I got a lot for that too.
Yeah.
I got a lot of ribbons from my fellow co-workers at the time, but that was really special with Maya when she came and presented that. Rick and I had and our fellow detectives had worked on a missing child case, and we worked hand in hand with the FBI, and we were flooded with probably 30 agents at first when it first happened, but had a command center. But TBI was involved as well. But that was I wouldn't say a great experience. It was an experience that did not have such a happy ending, but it definitely was a process and was memorable to work with a lot of those fine professionals with the FBI.
I would have put our unit we had back there in the detective division against anybody in the nation. And I think a lot of people in the nation took note because we unfortunately had, under his and I tenure, the Captain D's murders that happened in Smyrna. And he was actually on call and had to go to Atlanta.
Well.
So I took on call from him thinking it was not going to be anything. And then unfortunately we had the murders that happened July 12th of 2000. And but yeah, Jeff had went to Atlanta and I took on call for him. But you were talking about team getting together and putting their heads down, and we worked, all of us. It aged a bunch of young men pretty quick. And same thing with the Annalise case, that he was the head on that one. And it changed Smyrna a lot from that bedroom community that we didn't lock our doors and things, and the things like that really kind of changed it. And I feel like him and I were on the forefront of all that happened.
Well, with growth, those issues evolved.
Yeah. Right. I mean, that was a pivotal case, as Rick said. Now that I think about it, I hadn't really thought about it that way, but that was kind of a timestamp in Smyrna of things changing from a smaller community to a little bigger city problem.
And I've talked before, I think when I was a senior in high school at Smyrna back in '72, I'm not sure there were even 3,000 people in town then. And then I think your senior year, do you know what?
About 4,500. Yeah,
okay.
There wasn't many at all.
And then all of a sudden, just our town has mushroomed with population.
And my wife grew up there as well.
Yeah.
As with Rick, she was a
Katie,
a Bannister. She went to Smyrna High, went all the way through there. She's been there all of her life, and so she's really seen the change. I'm just there since the '90s, and it's an unbelievable difference. You can't even tell it's the same place.
But Jeff, and we've talked about it on that show. See, Jeff and I were the recipients a lot of what Sally Walls did, because when she was our assistant chief, and then she went on to run on the council, but she was huge in the training.
Yes.
So there's many trips that Jeff and I had been on with a surveillance van to Gatlinburg or wherever that we went to a lot of training and got to put us, I think, ahead of the curve of a lot of departments.
Had it not been for Sally Walls, Smyrna police would not be what it is today. The fire department either.
Yeah, you're right.
I would say anytime you're looking for a child, that's got to be probably the toughest case you're gonna handle.
Yes, well, any crimes involving children is always it really goes directly to my heart, because that's when they should feel the safest. But it also rallies the troops when that happens as well, too.
Sure does. Mr. Peach, what you got? We're rounding up here, but it looks like you've already got another
I got one more
out, so
poem, and it relates to our training.
Well, if it's not one about Wayner, I don't know if we want to do it.
This is about going to the academy.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
When I graduated from the academy, I was 55 years old. Of course, you got to remember now, I'd been a policeman already for 12 years up in Decatur, Illinois.
Do you remember your class number?
832.
Okay.
832, and that's
Jeff
mentioned.
and I shame. Both y'all know your class numbers.
Yes.
So you were 55 when you went through the academy.
Yeah, that's my second
I can't
time.
imagine.
No.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, I can't either.
Yeah, they called me the old man. I said, I got your old man. But I'd run everywhere I go. I'd run all the time. Like I did with the Special Olympics. I always led the torch run.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't go at 52.
Yeah. Anyway, I wrote one called Ode to the Camp Sunshine. Y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
Class 832. If you want to be a law officer in the state of Tennessee, then Camp Sunshine is definitely the place to be. At Camp Sunshine, you get professional instruction and training, regardless whether it's snowing, sleeting, or raining. We learned how to drive efficiently and to shoot our gun. We also learned the effects of a good defensive brachial stun. Hi-ya. The instructions were very clear that officer safety was their prime concern, and they did their level best to see that we did learn. Class 832 met with a few rough spots, but we finally pulled it out. We kept on encouraging each other and learned what teamwork is all about. Now it's time to say goodbye to Camp Sunshine, and we will go our separate ways. But we'll all look back with much pride at these academy days. Thank you, counselors and staff of Camp Sunshine. What more can we say? Except that we all are better officers because we attended TLE-TA. And I wanted to read our motto. Every class would have a motto. And our motto was, fast as lightning, hard as stone. Class 832 is bad to the bone.
God bless all three of y'all for your
Hey, you're in there too, buddy.
He needs to have come back with a Rick and Wayne show poem.
Yeah,
we need an entry.
Hey, I want.
We need to get Deputy Peach and Truman together on the show. I bet they would be a hoot.
Yeah.
Not that you and your son hadn't been.
Well, but thank y'all for having us.
Truman, a good storyteller.
Thank y'all for having me, especially because I don't amount to much, but I sure enjoy being around folks.
I disagree, Deputy. My children think the world of you, and I know there are hundreds, if not thousands, that admire you from their school days. And God bless you for your efforts in making them safe and building their confidence and a good relationship with a law enforcement professional.
I meant to mention that too. I taught DARE, and I also taught the county's version of DARE called LAST, L-A-S-T. But I also taught character counts, and I tried to teach the kids that what integrity is and what honesty is, and being a good citizen, what that means, and responsibility, that kind of thing. And so I tried to enter into shaping their character.
Well, we were way ahead of the curve, I think, in Rutherford County with SROs. You see with things going on in the world today, everybody's trying to play catch-up and find security officers or officers, and you guys were on the forefront of that, and you were the epitome of it because of your relationship you had with kids that, I think it helps young youth today and their interaction with law enforcement and their teachers and everything else. It's just another tool in the bag that, you guys were able to do and did an awesome job with it. But
Rick, this has been a fun show.
Sure is. Jeff, we will have you back another day.
All right, well, thank you.
And if you'll bring your dad again, my man.
Yes. It's been a blessing. You can see why I had a Norman Rockwell upbringing, because there was never a dull moment with my dad around.
We'll try to find the CD between now and then, and we'll have to play a track on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any copyright violations. We'll have you and Brian on that.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. But thank you guys for being here with us today.
Thank y'all.
Hope everybody enjoyed our show with Rick and Wayne today, and we'll be back again with you next Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Have a great day.